Yo, this is once again another episode of Rock Bottom Cartel's Side Hustle series. In this episode, I speak with a good friend named Evelyn. Evelyn and I met while we were both in college, different colleges though, but I was already doing my music stuff. She was part of an organization. She invited me and the boys to play and perform at the event. I don't know why, but the event fell through for whatever reason. It might have been COVID. I can't remember, but we've stayed in contact throughout the years, and now that I'm finally here in Austin, it was nice to be able to sit down and just really catch up and see what she's been up to and discuss her journey thus far. Really cool. I would say it made me realize that I may be full of too many excuses sometimes, and I think you'll know what I mean once you hear her story and sort of the things that she's had to do to be able to pursue a career in the music industry. She currently manages an artist here in Austin that goes by the name of Midnight Navy. He just played ACL, so they've got a lot of cool stuff in the works. Hope you like it. I mean, I really enjoyed the conversation. I will say, for whatever reason, when I set up the camera, I completely omitted half of my body. I don't think it matters. The audio's there. Whatever. Hope you enjoy.
Okay. I'll let you start.
Okay. So we were talking about commuting, right?
Yeah.
And you not using headphones.
No, I do not use headphones.
Why?
I feel like it distracts me from a lot of stuff, and I just rather not use it. There's a lot when you ride the bus, there's a lot going on. A lot. And you can get entertained that way.
Okay. So it's not just because you don't like listen to music, because you've established that you listen to it on your computer and things like that. But you're on the go. So I would assume that if you work in music, or you just, right before this, you mentioned not feeling like you were in the scene.
No.
But you spend a lot of time tiptoeing around it. We can put it that way. Like if you don't consider yourself within the scene, you're still doing a lot of things. I mean, you mentioned what was the name? Midnight Navy, right?
Yeah.
That you're doing stuff there. You've sent me posts before of like looking for a guitarist, looking for a bassist. So you have an idea of what's going on. So I guess, why do you not feel like you are a part of the scene, when I would think you are kind of like you play a critical role? Because from what I know, which is very little, you're at least doing some of the bridging of, hey, they're looking for this. Hey, they're looking for that. So you're making people aware of opportunities too. So why don't you feel like you're a part?
I think part of it, or the majority of it, is because I work in Latin music, and there isn't a Latin music scene here in Austin. Like, all the people that are in those critical roles, they live in LA or New York. And I haven't met another person who works in Latin music here, like specifically in Latin music.
Okay, so that makes sense. And I guess there's not a lot of, that scene is not there.
No.
Okay, so the way you're thinking about it is very genre specific.
It is. It's like a whole separate industry. Like, I've met with managers who, you know, their artists get a lot of stuff, but they know nothing about the Latin music industry.
Okay.
And they treat it as its own world.
Okay, I did not know that. And I mean, I guess it makes sense because they have the Latin Grammys. They have, which you would think, why would you even need that if everything's supposed to be kind of like a level playing field? But it really is quite literally a completely different language. So
yeah.
It makes sense why there's some sort of separation. What's wild is that, I mean, you have Latin artists now doing stadiums.
Yeah.
And coming into these scenes or these towns and doing just what anybody else within like the regular American market would be able to do. So the audience is there. The people that want to listen to these sort of things, that the amount of people, so this is the way I'm thinking about it. The people that will make up the scene, right? That you say, I don't feel myself as being a part of. They're here. There just doesn't seem to be a web that sort of connects everybody together. Do you think it's in part because there's not enough people talking about it within the scene, or no artists?
Like specifically in Austin?
Yeah.
There is artists, like Latin artists here, but we haven't had anyone that really like made it out of Austin. Everyone just kind of stays here. And I feel like that's not the case in the regular music industry in Austin. We had like a lot of people, you know, get out of that bubble.
What do you think it would take for somebody to be able to make it out of Austin?
Honestly, that's kind of a hard question, but I guess just the support, because I feel like for a long time, people have viewed Latin artists as just a niche or like a secondary industry or secondary market, but now it is the majority, or like more of an even playing field between the two industries.
I agree. So, I mean, you go to clubs and Bad Bunny's playing, Raul Alejandro's playing. So how do you think, and the reason I like having these conversations with people like you that are active, whether you see it or not, you're somewhat active in the scene, right? It's because I think it's important for there to be some sort of brainstorming that happens of how can we make the support happen so that there is some sort of infrastructure, so that and I say infrastructure, but I don't mean that, I think, figuratively, you know what I mean? So that artists feel that sense of support, so that you have a city like this where people can move to thinking, no, I mean, the support's there, you know? And so I think that, to sort of bounce around, you're doing a part of that with your, would you consider it a project that you're doing with La Pocha Radio?
Yeah, it started off that way, but it kind of transformed to something else. I did like a lot of videos at the beginning talking about Latin music, and then it kind of just turned into just sharing the like Hispanic experience in Austin, since, you know, when you go on social media, you just see people like day in the life in Austin doing Pilates or doing yoga, or, you know, getting a $36 smoothie. But then there's this whole other community that's like been here, and no one really highlights that, or at least at the time when I started.
So do you find yourself being sort of like the voice for that community?
Honestly, no, I don't. I feel like,
and that's why I made that face at the beginning, because for anybody that would be the voice, they would not see themselves as the voice, because it sounds pretentious, which is what you're kind of trying to go against, right?
Kind of, yeah. But I guess I just wanted to highlight the like normal experience, because, like, you know, when I did my day in the lives, I showed me riding the bus because I don't have a car.
Yeah.
Having 3 jobs because Austin is super expensive, and just doing normal people things rather than like this glamorous life that I feel like everyone kind of wants to see. Like, this is a reality for so many people living here.
And this is why, to what you were sort of discrediting yourself, I think, I don't know if we're going to be able to have a conversation. I don't know what we're going to be able to talk about. But this is exactly why I think I wanted you on the podcast. You are talking about having 3 jobs, and would you not agree? I mean, if you think about it differently, then you can tell me. But would you say that if you had chosen a different path, right, outside of music, that it would have been maybe easier for you to make more money, and somewhat live a more comfortable lifestyle?
100%. Because I have 2 degrees.
Okay.
And like the first job, well, a lot of entry level jobs in music, they tend to pay like really, really little. And in order to get these really super competitive jobs that pay like literally nothing, like it's not sustainable, you have to do unpaid internships to get there. And I feel like, I mean, for me, I come from a low income, like first gen background, where like it's just me. I don't, like, even though my parents would want to, they can't financially support anything that I do. And that includes, you know, like I never got a car like a lot of people do. But I mean, I studied business at UT and I'm working in music. So yes.
Which by default, I hear it's a very difficult school to get into. Like specifically the school of business.
Oh yeah. It was insane in there. A lot of people like just ended up, you know, do the Wall Street finance path, or a lot of people worked in tech. So,
and this is the crazy part. I mean, and I was talking to my friend Darian about this. It is kind of a curse to be like pursuing this thing, you know, and by this, it's obviously so broad because I would love to just tour and be able to make a living out of that. I'm sure your ideal scenario outlook on within the music industry is different, right? But it sucks. I wouldn't have it any other way, right? I love that I am doing shit like this, right? But yes, I do think that my life could be so much easier if I was just okay with going into work and spending most of my time there, making a lot of money, going back home, watching TV, relaxing, and then I'm done. But I just, this is what I chose. And it is so cool to see other people that are kind of doing it for the love of the game, right? Because it's now in this moment, there's no money, there's no guarantee. I mean, for all I fucking know, I could be doing this every Thursday for no reason other than just I had nice conversations, right?
Yeah.
Which for me is enough, right? But it is very difficult for me to find people that are even remotely thinking about this the same way that I do. It's either you're somewhat all in, right? Or you're kind of half in, right? But something else that I've noticed is that sometimes it's just not realistic to be able to be fully in from the perspective of an artist that needs to have 1, 2, 3 jobs, whatever the case may be, to be able to feed themselves, right? But so do you go into this, right, wanting to work within the music industry knowing this, or is this just kind of you're slowly been uncovering the layers of, oh, this is way harder than I thought it was going to be?
Yeah, I guess when I was in college, I knew I wanted to work in music, but like a lot of college students, you set up a lot of intro calls with people that are already in the music industry. And there was just some people that were like, yeah, you have to move to LA without a job and just figure it out. But I guess they didn't realize like not everyone can do that. And like I feel like that's what the majority of people do. They just move to these really expensive cities without a job because their parents can financially support their, you know, career path until they make it in a couple of years. But that's just something I couldn't do. So I stayed here in Austin. And then I literally told everybody like, hey, I'm applying to these jobs just to see if someone wanted to help me. And I ended up getting a job here. But when I remember like I was in San Antonio whenever I got my job offer. And whenever I saw like my salary being like, I think it was equivalent if I just worked 40 hours, which sometimes I would work more, it was equivalent to like $15 or $16 an hour. And I could make more. I see some like posters around Austin, like dishwashers making $18 an hour, which
Buc-ee's.
is great.
You could go work for Buc-ee's.
Which is great, but I just couldn't believe that I would be making less than like a job that didn't require a degree. So it was like crushing. That's why I ended up getting 2 other jobs. I worked at a music venue that actually paid more, and I would just sit at the door and just scan tickets. And I made, I think, $20 an hour there. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm making so much money here. And then I ended up working at a taqueria, which I also made significantly more money than my desk job that basically stressed me out. I had like an eye twitch for 2 years when I worked there. But now I only have like one job. Sometimes I work at the venue, but mostly because that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
But I don't have to do that anymore. And those 2 years were terrible. They were like insane.
Do you think that, I mean, did you learn anything out of it other than, damn,
well,
this
it
is
was
a harsh reality?
Yeah, it was interesting because I heard some other people like that their parents would pay for their stuff, and that their salary, which was low but higher than mine, would just be pocket money to them. And I was just like, oh my goodness. And I couldn't
rich.
believe.
Like,
I know.
In their mind, you know, and obviously you can't blame them, right? Because it's just we're just lucky in that sense, right?
Yeah.
And it's just luck of the draw. You open your eyes and you're either middle class, low class, very wealthy.
Yeah.
And so, but just that difference can be so extreme sometimes. And then what I think hurts maybe people like in your case is that if you're management, right, and the statistic is that, well, 80% of them are not complaining.
Yeah.
Then you can't, you know, what can you do about it? You're just the outlier. So you kind of have to figure it out.
Yeah. I remember like my coworkers would be like, I told them a story like, I was working, and they were like, which out of your many jobs? And I was just like, okay, well, I'm glad you realized that, like, because at that point in my life, when I worked 3 jobs, I didn't have a single day off. My day off was like an afternoon.
Wow.
And like I would start at 9 a.m. at my 9 to 5. And then I had 30 minutes to head over to the taqueria, which I lived by. And I would work there until midnight. And then I would have to like, you know, like eat a little bit, like you know, I don't know if you ever worked at a restaurant, but like the leftover food that like was a mistake.
Yeah.
I would eat that and then just do that every single day. And then on the weekends, I would work the venue and the taqueria.
Meanwhile, you were also, like, it's easy to forget sometimes because you can be like, oh yeah, I mean, it just works. But you're also having to, like, use public transportation, right? To get from job A to job B, which adds more time, adds more walking, adds a whole other complication. I mean, because they're not waiting for you.
No.
So, and I've never had to use public transportation here. I did in College Station, when I was in college over there, but everything was so much closer. So it was easier to sort of figure out, I would think, like routes and just everything in general. But I have to think that within a city, I correct me if I'm wrong, but, or let me just ask you this, as somebody that uses it all the time, is it pretty efficient, or is the transportation system here shitty?
There's a lot of critiques with the public transportation here, mostly because we don't have rail lines. But so it's kind of tricky to answer that question because I live in a low income housing unit in Austin,
Mm-hmm.
and I specifically chose it to be right next to a rapid bus line. So nice. I don't know if you've ever heard of the 801s or 803s,
No,
but they're the express ones. So from my apartment to the office that I work now, it takes me 10 minutes.
Oh, wow.
So but it's only because I live central. And it kind of sucks because like the best bus lines are the ones that only go through basically the rich areas of Austin. But if you were going to go from the east side or like more south where those bus lines are not there, you have to take like 2 or 3 buses to get somewhere. And that's what I would do sometimes.
And your commute turns to like what?
So from my apartment to the venue that I work at, I have to leave like an hour and a half to 2 hours before my shift.
Holy fuck.
Yeah.
Still?
Yeah, when I work, yeah.
Wow.
Because it's so south.
And then to go back, it's the same amount of time in terms of a commute?
Yeah. If I go back to my apartment, I had to take 2 buses. I take the 801 and then I had to take 3.
Okay.
But yeah, I would say so.
So what time do you go in? 9?
So at the venue?
Or just your job now?
Oh, now it's 10.
It's 10 minutes. Sorry.
Yeah.
We're still, sorry. So then, back then, if you had to go into work, I don't know. I'm just thinking about how longer your work day became, because typically it's just 8 hours, or let's say 9.
Yeah.
You got a 30-minute commute there, a 30-minute commute back. But you're saying 2 hours before. That doesn't count you getting up, you getting ready, leaving, and then coming back, trying to figure yourself out, whatever you're going to eat for dinner.
Yeah.
Did you ever sleep?
No. That's why I had an eye twitch for 2 years. Like, it wouldn't go away. It was really bad.
Jesus.
And I was like so emotional then too. Like, I think I would cry like every day. But I think it's just my body was giving up, and I would get sick a lot too.
So how long did you do that for?
I don't know, maybe a year.
And what was the catalyst for you to say, fuck this, I'm done?
It was first it was a taqueria, because that's like the easiest that I could leave. Because I couldn't, my thought was like, if I left my 9 to 5, that was it. I was going to get blacklisted. Like, if I leave this job, I'm not going to get another job. Because there's like such few jobs in Austin related to music.
Yeah.
I don't know when it would be the next time that even like a job post would be like one that's relevant to me.
Yeah, you're not in the food industry.
No.
That like it has a crazy turnover. No.
Yeah.
When people get a job like that, they hang on to it because it's what you have to do. What else are you gonna do?
That was my thought process. So I like held on as much as I could to that one, but the taqueria one, I know I could have found like another one if I wanted to in like 2 months once I recover. Mm-hmm. But a customer yelled at me. It was a French guy.
A French guy at a taqueria.
Because he said that I gave him attitude because I told him, oh, like all the descriptions are on the menu. Since I worked at a taqueria, the majority of people were not Hispanic. So the most common question I got was like, what's barbacoa? What is pastor? What kind of meat is it? I'm like, it's on the menu.
Yeah. So the fucking description.
And then he yelled at me for like 10 minutes. And I told my manager.
Yelled?
Yes. He told me, like, you are terrible. I'm gonna tell your manager, like, you work in customer service, you're supposed to be nice and the customer is always right, like, you shouldn't have told me to look at a menu. So I told my manager to give her a heads up.
Why the fuck do you have it in the first place? Why the fuck is it there? Okay,
And then, like,
you don't want to look at the menu? That's fine.
We were just counter service too, like, we don't, you know, like, we don't go to your table and take your order.
Oh, so it was.
I was
you weren't even
a
like
cashier.
waiting.
No,
Oh,
I was a
dude,
cashier.
Fuck you, like, you think you go to McDonald's and ask? No, they're probably not even gonna know.
I know, and it's like tacos. It shouldn't be a big deal. So I told my manager, and then she was like, "You should have just given him a free taco." And I was just like, "Okay."
What? We promote that type of energy now?
Yeah, and I thought she would be like, "Oh, that's weird. Don't worry about it." But yeah, I went home and then I just quit.
Rightfully so.
So yeah.
Like, it just, it sucks to work somewhere where you don't feel like you're being backed by your employer. You know what I mean? Because I work at an office now where that's very much so the case. Like if somebody gets funny with you, we don't really tolerate it. But when it gets down to like corporate, I think sort of environments and things like that, that's just so much harder because everybody's being watched by somebody else. So even though everybody's logical response would be to tell that French guy to fuck off, everybody's afraid of telling you to do that. You see what I'm saying? I think what you're saying seems like it's not a chain, right? It's just like a local.
Yeah.
But I think that idea is just everywhere. Whatever.
Yeah. It was crazy because, like, I worked at a taqueria hoping to find, like, I don't want to say like more of myself, but I knew I was going to be comfortable there because my parents had a taco truck, like, growing up. So that was like, okay, like, I know this. I'm going to be so, like, I love the music playing, like, taquerias always have good music. And sure. I could hear that. Yeah. I could sell tacos that, like, I grew up with, like, the kindness of tacos. But it just ended up being, like, a stressor when I didn't expect it to be, I guess.
Yeah. Well, sorry that happened.
No, it's all good. My parents were so happy that I quit because they were like, you went to college and you're still working in tacos?
Yeah. Dude, and that's the other thing. That's the other thing about choosing this path is that sometimes you find yourself doing things like that and it is so demoralizing sometimes just because of what you're capable of, right? And so I don't know. It's just I go through this cycle of thinking about this shit every day. Of am I doing enough? I mean, have you considered moving to LA?
I would never. No. I would never move up from Austin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think the LA music scene, not that I've ever been, like, I've never been over there. I just don't feel like it's what I want. Like, I feel like here is more chill. And, like, I feel like over there it's more cutthroat.
Sure.
And I feel like more people will probably, like, sabotage you or something.
Fake. Yeah.
But, I mean, not sure if that's true. I've never been over there. But I just feel like people here are a little bit more nice and helpful. Sure.
So what's end goal for you? When you think, like, ideally, this is what my life looks like. Yeah. Where do you see yourself?
I honestly have no idea. I got asked this yesterday too. I like what I'm doing at my current job. I love working with Latin artists and that's my goal. And I love helping Midnight Navy too, like with his goals of, like he's going to play ACL. He played South by. Sick. He's going on his first tour. And he's opening up for, like, my favorite artist, which is really cool. So I'm excited to see him, like, grow. But besides that, I feel like those are my goals for right now. But, yeah.
How did that connection come about
With who? Midnight Navy?
Mm-hmm.
I actually DM'd him because I listened to his album or like his EP, The Melon, and it was so. I feel like Austin and Texas has never gotten an artist with his sound. I feel like the majority of people that make like Latin indie music come from LA.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I liked it a lot. And yeah, I just DM'd him, and then I think we had like, I don't want to say, we didn't make it official, like me being his manager, until like 4 months later.
So you're managing him?
Now I am. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah. I think I started in like May, but I was like doing a trial run mostly for myself. Yeah. Just because when I worked at the company that I used to work at, I was just an assistant. So I saw what the people were doing, but I never did it myself. So I just wanted to see if I could even do it before becoming like officially the title. Not that that's the way to do it. It was just more like a me thing.
Yeah. So what was like first order of business whenever you said, okay, I'm gonna, or let me put it this way. What was your pitch?
To him?
Yeah.
Oh, it was just like, Oli, I'm Evelyn. Yeah, basically. And I was just like, I like your music. I want to help artists out if you like ever need help. I think that was it. I'm not a very like, I'm mostly like a cautious person when I do things.
Okay. So you guys talk, ends up happening. What are you? I don't know. I'm just trying to because I don't really have the artist management vein. I think maybe at some point, but I would just want to steal the show way too much. Like from because I just want to perform, you know, and I just want to play on stage. Yeah. So if I were like managing artists, I think I would end up wanting to, I don't know, find a way to get myself on there as well. I don't know.
Okay, yeah.
I can't explain it. But it would be like me being a coach that still very much so wants to be on the field. Like I'm not ready. I feel like when you go from player to coach, it's because you're ready. You're done. Okay. You're done with actually playing, and you're fine being on the sidelines, sort of helping orchestrate and help them succeed or whatever. So what are you thinking? Like, okay, here's where I could help, or here's what I could do.
Yeah, I guess it was mostly like talking to him and like seeing his goals. And he's a very driven person, and that's what I liked, because I was like stalking him on Instagram kind of. And he already knows this. I already told him like, I stalked you. Yeah. And like when he released his EP before I came in, and just like his rollout plan I really liked. He designed his own merch. He had an album release show, and he's very like on the grounds when it comes to like branding himself and his like image, sure. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I like that he was already taking the initiative himself, and it's not like someone to like, I don't want to say baby him, but yeah. It kind of feels like we're both working on a team together. Yeah,
he was already rolling, and you coming in would not be to have him stop doing anything that he's doing, but if anything, just support. And now there's two putting in as much effort into whatever you're doing. That's really cool. Yeah, I mean, I think it's nice to see artists. Like, I mean, I get inspired a lot by artists that are that hands-on, because I am the same way mentally. I want to just have my finger on everything that has to do with the music that I'm making and everything that I'm doing. It's just very hard for me to find the consistency within myself and the discipline. That's the right word that I was looking at, or looking for, to stay on top of it. Just because there's so much to do.
There is a lot.
Since I like to be involved in everything, then it's how do I don't need some, you get so stuck trying to move a certain direction that like I don't even know where to begin. So that's really cool that he's doing so well. How did the whole thing with ACL come about for him?
Yeah, he basically got it because he played South by. And, South by is, I guess it has the reputation of giving, you play this festival and you get something out of it because there's so many people there. And that's exactly what happened to him.
That's so cool. So does ACL and South by kind of work together when it comes down? Like you that are working for like South by within the Latin music scene, right? Does ACL come to South by and say, hey, do you guys have recommendations? Or because I have no idea of how that whole operation goes. I mean, do you know anything about?
No. But also like Midnight Navy, we haven't really had in Austin, I would say personally, like a Latin indie artist. So like I feel like the majority of the Latin bands or people that make Latin music, like specifically Latin music, not like, oh, they happen to be Latino. Yeah. It just tends to be cumbia bands. Like that's what we have here. So I think that's what like, Francisco, what makes him special.
Did he is his music all in Spanish?
No. So he has some songs that are like entirely in Spanish, but he really likes to like make music in relation to his Chicano heritage. Awesome. So like you hear some songs like in both languages too.
That's really cool. Man, that's awesome. Well, I hope that that keeps evolving and that it reaches the potential that I think you're describing it definitely has, and that your role within the project is fulfilled. That's really cool. Now I want to talk about and also tell him I would love to have him on the podcast. Does he do music full time?
At the moment he does. Like we're doing his deluxe EP and we've been working a lot. Yeah. Like these last couple of months, it's been kind of intense. So like at the moment he does do music full time. That
is awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, but does he have to do something else?
I think I remember like he tells me he door dashes sometimes. Yeah. But like right now he is a dad, so he takes care of his kid. Shout out Diego.
That's his yeah. The kid name?
Yeah.
That's my little brother's name.
Oh, really?
Yes. Which little brother became drummer now.
Oh, nice.
So the casa has definitely become a family affair, and it's really nice. Maybe his Diego becomes a part of the band too at some point. So awesome. Well, DJing, where did this come from?
Yes. So.
And as you keep talking, I'm going to check if that's still rolling because I get afraid sometimes.
Do you want me to just...
Yeah, keep going.
Okay, cool. So I had like a lot of... I basically inherited my parents' record collection, and they had like a lot of banda since the state that they're from in Mexico. That's the most popular genre. Mm-hmm. But also like Juan Gabriel, Jose Jose, cumbias, things like that. And I've always wanted to spin records, but I never knew how I could get into it because equipment is so expensive. Mm-hmm. And, that's just not accessible to see if I would even like it. So I like reached out to this organization one time. They no me pelaron, like they didn't pay attention to me. So like I saw that my friend Luya was spinning records at Try Hard Coffee, and I posted a TikTok. I was like, guys, I want to spin records, but I don't know how, if anyone has tips. And then like a lot of people from the Bay Area responded, like giving me advice, but then Ale was just like, come to Try Hard, like I can teach you. And my 1-year anniversary is actually coming next month, and
That's so cool.
I'm doing a show with Ale Luya, because they got me into it.
That is awesome. So doing that, um, it's so nice that you were able to find a friend
Yeah.
to do it with, because I'm also really into DJing, and so I bought a controller.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not, I don't have,
Just a standard one.
yeah, like, well, mine's limited edition.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah. No, it's just, so I was getting into the idea of doing it. Well, at the time I was working a job remotely, and I was bored out of my mind, and I wanted to have something to do, because they were sending me from like hotel to hotel, just basically. So I was just in different cities, really boring cities, like for months. And so I bought a like a Serato controller thing, and it's gray. It's I love it. When I bought it, I was like, look, if I don't end up using it,
Yeah.
it'll just look cool.
Yeah. True.
So I love it. I learned, and I gotta say, I'm pretty good at transitioning, but I use this app called, it's not an app, it's a website called TuneBat, I think.
Okay.
And you put a song, and it tells you related ones in terms of BPM and also vibe. It even tells you key, so that you know sort of how far off you are. It's really sick. But anyways, I started doing that, and so seeing you do it, but with actual records, I'm like, all right, one-upped. How do you do you when you play? I mean, because I've never seen anybody actually do it, but when you're spinning vinyl, are you basically just crossfading?
Yeah. Yeah.
One song to the next, and you play you let the whole thing go, and you crossfade into the other.
Personally, I do, because, oh my god, this sounds kind of pretentious of me, but like, I'm a sound selector rather than a DJ.
All right.
But the way I usually like format my shows is because I only do Latin stuff. So like,
I think you told me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like whenever I play, I like playing at loungy places. So I used to play at Try Hard Coffee. It was chill. It's not like
but it was like during like mornings, early afternoons, because I saw you always posting about it, but I could never make it.
Yeah, I think their shifts, or not their shifts, but their sets were like 8 a.m. until 2.
Yeah.
Like every day. But now I play at Community Garden, and that's at night. Like I play during the weekend sometimes. I think that's 7 p.m. to 11. But since they're loungy places, I start with like boleros at the beginning. Boleros, kind of like Juan Gabriel stuff too. Ballads. And then I move it to cumbias, like in the middle. And then I move it to quebraditas.
Okay.
And then I move it to just full on banda.
So you're picking it up. How did you even get that gig?
At Community Garden?
Yeah.
So at the beginning, like when I first played there, I got invited by a DJ, and he's also like a visual artist. So he actually did the visuals. You've been to Cypress, right?
Is it Drip Cuts?
Yes. You know him?
Well, I don't know him, but I know it was also in my notes.
Okay, cool.
So Drip Cuts, the very first show that I played in Austin ever, it was at Mohawk.
Okay.
And the guy that brought me to Mohawk, his name was Chris, that I think he still works at Mohawk. Dude, it's one of those things where you know these people, but sometimes you're afraid to like go up to them because you're like, I don't think they're going to remember me type of situation.
Okay.
That's because I just saw Chris the other day at Mohawk 2 days before, I think it was Wednesday. But I need to make an approach. I'm sure that he would remember, I think. But that first show that he set up, he brought a visual artist. It was Drip Cuts. Yeah. And so I've kept up with him on Instagram, just like seeing the stuff. So whenever you posted the other day, or I mean, it must have been some time ago, I think.
I think so.
It was like a show that you were going to do, and Drip Cuts was going to be on there. I'm like, oh, small world. Which is what I'm saying. Like, I don't, deep down, and I'm very passionate about this, I do think that it is a small enough. All right. All right. I do think it's a small enough scene to where everybody can. I feel like everybody is 1 degree away from knowing each other.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I also feel like all the Latinos that do something creative know each other. Like, because they're always at the same things.
Well, not me, okay? And that bothers me. So
yeah, pull up. I'll send you the stuff.
So please.
Okay.
Because
What do you mean? I ran into you before.
Where?
It was a cumbia show.
Yeah, but I only went 1 time.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying. I've only done. I have not been consistent enough. I wish, because I think it's so cool. I don't feel like I am part of anything like that, and I could be. I just don't think I go to enough things. So yes, please do.
Yeah.
Because I would love to be involved within the community. But anyways, you were saying.
Well, I forgot. But Drip Cuts, I feel like I see him everywhere too. Like I saw him at Antone's. I didn't expect him to see him at Antone's. I saw him at Psych Fest. He was doing visuals for Chicano Batman.
That is so badass.
That was really cool. I just see him everywhere. I feel like I see everyone everywhere.
And I want to get to that point, which is part of the reason why I'm doing this. Because, well, I knew you, but I didn't really know you. And so now, if I see you around, I am for sure going to be able to have a normalized conversation with you, because
we would have anyways.
I know, but it's a little different because
Okay.
I feel like I know you.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I know a little bit more about you. And I'm so bad with small talk that it just, not having enough rapport for me would mean that I'm going to say, oh, hey, what's up? How's the weather? Oh, great. Okay, bye. Because I have this auto eject or whatever button that I just within my own, I don't know, awkwardness or something, which is weird because I don't think it was always like that. But anyways, so we were talking about how you got the gig at Community Garden. You said a friend got you the gig?
Drip Cuts. He's the one that he
Drip Cuts.
DM'd me and he was like, yo, I see that you DJ Latin stuff. You want to play? I was like, yeah, I'll play.
That's so cool. So is that something that you're kind of trying to pursue, like, for real? Just be a DJ? Or is it just, it's a fun
yeah,
hobby?
I think it's important when you work in music not to make everything so serious. So that's like my thing. I'm not like this great DJ. I just like playing songs that I like and I feel like people would like. That's all I do. But yeah, like I think I played there 3 times. 1 time by myself. Well, I invited Luya. We had a regional Mexican night because we have like a fun DJ duo called Hijas de sus Reputaciones.
Nice.
And then I played with Omar from Trucha Soul.
Okay.
And he's also like a great DJ. He like plays all like the super cool cumbias.
So when you do that, what's that process look like? Okay, you're gonna get 1 song, I'm gonna get the next, or you get 3, then you get 3.
Yeah, kind of. So when I played with Drip Cuts, it was kind of funny because he mostly just has cumbias. I don't play that many cumbias. My thing is mostly regional Mexican.
Okay.
But like I felt like I felt so bad, but he played the majority of songs because people were so receptive to cumbias. Like people even brought like a huira and were playing it in like the area. And I was just like, oh, I don't want to put my like drunk Dio songs on. Like, so in that case, he played the majority of the night, I would say, except like towards the end. I was just like, no, like go, like have a break. Cause I feel like you've been doing too much. It was just mostly like a me thing. And then with Omar, he also like majority of the time plays like cumbias, but the last time I played with him, it was just more like back to back, like He plays a couple songs and he's just like, okay, now you go. And I'm like, okay.
Okay.
Or just chiming in.
So that's the etiquette.
Yeah.
Because I wonder, because I would love to do that at some point too. And it's nice to get some insight of like how this works. That's really cool. Where do you get the records from? Like, do you need to bring them, or do they have like a stash? Or
I feel like places do have like records, but I only play Latin stuff. Like, I don't play like soul, or what other people like. What is other things that people play? Like vinyl DJs, like house. Yeah, I don't play that stuff.
Or like dub.
Yeah, I mostly I love regional Mexican. That's my thing. So I bring my own, but they're for my parents' collection. Also, like every single time I'm out of town, like when I go on vacation, I basically just look for records, and that's it. Like when I went to Chicago, I got like 100 of them. And
how do you know? I mean, those 100 records, it's just shit that you already knew?
Yeah, for the most part. Okay.
Because I wonder about that too. It's like I could pick out records, but I don't think my musical knowledge is enough. I do have a lot of it in the alternative rock sort of section, but when I think about DJing, my favorite thing is just house. Okay. Specifically like deep house, very chill, moody, and I don't have enough in my repertoire of songs that I can like pick out to say, oh, I recognize this record and buy them. So that's why like actually spinning records sounds so intimidating to me, because I don't think I would have enough material. So it sounds like you say you get 100 records, but do you switch it up every time, or do you kind of have like a built-in set that you say, okay, for the next month, every time I play, I'm going to do this set?
Yeah. So right now, there's just some songs that I just have to play all the time. Not like all the time, but I had to bring them to every set. And there's not that many. I just love quebraditas. They're so fun. It's like a mixture of like cumbia kind of with like banda. And like you always hear cowbell. And I just love those songs. They're so good.
Give me one of those, because I wanna write it down.
Si tu boquita fuera.
Oh, yes.
By Banda R15.
Yes. I've heard that song.
Really? Yeah, because I know they have like a
they
bolero.
Have the soft one. Yeah. No, but I've heard the one that you're talking about.
I love. So my parents actually got me that record from San Francisco.
That's awesome.
At this record shop called Discodelic. They just do Latin records for the most part. I think they have like soul and stuff, but like the majority of their inventory is from Latin America, and they love that song. Like growing up, I would hear it, and they got me that for Christmas.
There's a big merengue version of that song.
Yeah.
And I don't know if her name is Giselle or Olga Tañón.
Is the one that says Bravo?
No. So you're not very familiar with merengue?
No.
So that's more like Dominican, Puerto Rican. It's very I guess you could say from the Caribbean, but I think you would like it because there's just
some songs I do like. Oh, I can't think of them, but
you know the genre.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I don't know, I just love regional Mexican.
Yeah.
Like that one song, it's from the state that my parents are from in Mexico. Like that band is from there. Mm-hmm. So that's why it's like special, and I always play it.
That's really cool.
I feel like no one here in Texas is from the state of Nayarit. Like you just don't hear it. So.
Actually, me. No.
Oh my God. Yeah.
You said R15.
Yeah.
Because I've heard the song, maybe not that version, but I feel like I have. Because you may have. Oh, I don't have this shit connected. I'll shred it down. But I feel like you may have posted it on a story, because I have just full. In all honesty, you have posted stories with music, mm-hmm. and I've liked the song that you have, and I look it up and I save it.
Oh, that's
So
funny.
I can't remember which one, but I know I've done it at least once.
It's probably that one, because I think I don't know if I'm right, but that flyer I did with, or that Drip Cuts made, I think it had that song on there. Because I was obsessed with it for like a long time. Like
I'll figure it out later because now I'm super curious. Because I know there was one that I did that for sure. It might have been that one, but I forgot that my phone was there. But anyways, cool. How much? Oh, we still got a little bit of time. So, about the records. Okay, so you started doing that. Are you? So then the whole Luya thing, and Boiler Room.
Oh yeah.
What the fuck?
I know, that's crazy. Luya, because I was talking to them on the phone, and they were saying how they were playing a set for Future Front Texas, the nonprofit that like highlights non-binary and woman creatives. She was playing, like, DJing for them, and like she basically got recruited for a Boiler Room
From there?
Yeah, because House of Lepore was already like doing a set, and then House of Lepore came, like the main person came up to them and basically recruited them, essentially.
That is so crazy.
Yeah.
Dude, I obsess over things like that because so many artists get discovered or, off of I don't know anything about that gig that happened before, right? But you hear so many stories about like bands that get signed or artists that get signed, and it was the one night that they played to a very shitty empty room with just 3 people. It just so happens that one of them was X person that knew this other person. It's wild. That's why I hate saying no to gigs. Sometimes they can be super inconvenient in some way, but I always have that. Maybe it's I don't know what the word is. It's like
FOMO.
It's also, but it's more of a it's not magic, but when you believe in like a
manifestation.
No. We're getting there. It's not cynical, but God damn it. I can't, dude. I need to think about it. Whatever. It's just whenever you get in your head about not doing something, and I don't know. I can't. For example, I'll give you a stupid example. In the past couple of weeks, for whatever reason, I've noticed that I feel like I'm pretty in tune with whatever's happening around me. Like I'll think of something and then I see it, which it's been so consistent that I'm like, okay, I think I'm going through a phase where I'm just pretty in tune with everything. And I walked past like a lottery machine, walking out of Walmart, and my hands were like full of shit. And the thought just fucking went into my head of like, maybe you should play $1 or $2. And I didn't, and that just ate me up. You know what I mean? It just messed with me the entire time. I'm like, oh, what if there was something to that? Or that's how I feel about gigs too. It's like if I don't do them, for as shitty as they can be, I'm always gonna feel like, oh, what could have been? Whatever. I'm sorry. That was a lot of rambling but yeah. I'm gonna be honest. I think we've covered pretty much everything that I had in mind, and I'm super glad that it just kind of all happened organically, because literally everything that we brought up is on here on these notes that I wrote down yesterday, and we just kind of see. Other than, I guess we can sort of start closing with this. Other than Midnight Navy, anybody else that you think and Yerba Malita, anybody else that you think I don't know, people should have their eyes on within the Latinx community.
I would give a shout out to Omar from Truchasol. I'm DJing with him on Saturday, and I just love how nice he is. And he's just wholesome. I know he wouldn't want to be described that way, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, he's just really cool. And he does a lot of cool stuff. Like, he has his own vinyl record label called Truchasol.
That's awesome.
And he also DJs like a lot of cool stuff. And he has like the most knowledge of anyone that I know about cumbia and like its history and like all the cool people that do stuff within that space. But yeah,
it's nice that you've been able to surround yourself with people that have that interest, especially within. It's not only that you like DJing, but that you like DJing the same shit. Because I'm sure that you hear new stuff every time you guys DJ and shit. It's like that you may pick up, or are you that knowledgeable that everything that they play you just know already?
No, I feel like I don't know. Maybe it goes both ways. I think everyone has their like specialty, and like Omar just knows so much about cumbia and like other stuff too, because he grew up in a border town. But yeah,
that's cool. What town?
El Paso.
Oh, I've been to Laredo a couple times to play gigs. Always the best. And the last time that we went, I took my parents. Mm-hmm. Because now they love now that my brother's in the band, mm-hmm. they love being roadies and helping and setting shit up. Mm-hmm. And they loved it. They love Laredo so much. I think it's just, specifically my dad really loved seeing like Mexico. He loved that you could see it. You know what I mean? And then have you been to Laredo?
I haven't been to Laredo or like the Valley. I haven't been to El Paso either.
So there's in Laredo, there's like the downtown. The border is like you can walk. There's like a little bridge that people walk, because there's people that work on the other side and vice versa. Yeah. So they're always just commuting. And to my dad's credit, I had been to Laredo already twice before that, and I hadn't even. But my dad woke up super early the morning that we were going to head back. He started walking around downtown and realized that it was literally right there. And he was like, look, they're crossing over. They're coming in. They're coming out. And he was just super pumped about it. But yeah, whatever. That was a random anecdote. What do you want to plug?
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Like music?
Yeah, whatever, any projects that you got working on, your Instagram, is there anything?
I'm having my 1-year anniversary of DJing at Community Garden, October 18th, I think.
To be fair, sorry, this is probably not gonna be out by then.
Oh no, it's okay.
But
what else can I say? Midnight Navy Deluxe EP coming out November 22nd.
Hopefully by then. Yes.
Yeah. He's gonna be going on tour with La Doña for
That's
Dallas
awesome.
and Austin, which I'm really excited about. And then I'm also going to be DJing the San Antonio show. He's playing at Paper Tiger.
That's so cool.
Yeah, we couldn't find another DJ.
That's awesome. Okay, how are you on Instagram?
It's lameramera.evelyn.
Cool. And then on TikTok, because you're pretty active on TikTok.
Yeah, La Pocha Radio.
Awesome. I'm on Instagram as De Casa PR, and then the channel Rock Bottom Cartel. Hopefully there was something of. Did you just boo it?
Woo.
Oh my gosh, shit, never mind, I guess. Hopefully there was something of value if you stuck around. And yeah, thanks for watching.
Bye.
I'm outside your door watching. Ain't nobody else but you outside your door.